What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more on the HermitPack. So today we're going to be setting up an infinite diamond farm, and this will actually be the first time I've ever set up a farm with the sole purpose of getting infinite diamonds. Obviously, you know, we've got the void ore miner that gets a fair bit of diamonds, but obviously it gets that in combination with pretty much every other ore that's available in modded Minecraft, so it gets it relatively slow. And as we saw last episode, we run out of diamonds when we start crafting with them fairly quickly, and then I am forced to go out and pretty much just manually gather diamonds, and we ran out of gold last time too. We're not going to take care of that today, but I'm going to take care of that eventually because, in my opinion, it's a little bit absurd to actually have to go out and manually gather resources. Now that might sound a little bit stupid, but we're playing modded Minecraft. Everything should be automated in the end, and so we're going to be taking care of the diamond portion of that right now by setting up an automated shulker farm. Now, shulkers drop diamonds in this pack. They drop a couple different things, but the main one is going to be the diamonds that we want, and so we're going to be setting up a very simple automated farm for them today. All we're going to need for it is going to be a soul vial with a shulker in it. You can easily go to the end and just capture one of them. You do have to fly a little bit off from the main area of the end and find an island with them on it, but once you get that, you can capture it in a soul vial, come back. Then you're going to need a nice broken spawner because we are going to be making a powered spawner that is going to spawn the shulker. Then you're going to need pretty much just any way to wirelessly transport items and power. I'm going to be using both the RF exciter and the dimensional transceiver. Vacuum chest, of course, to collect all the drops. And then we're going to be killing them using what I think is a pretty creative way to do it. But the shield projector, you only need tier 1, and then a bunch of shield template blocks. And lastly, you need an inhibitor Obelisk. Now, I went over all of this just because I want you guys to have a good idea of what we're working with before we actually jump into this. And I have to say, I am quite proud of this. A lot of you guys know that I specifically watch Exuma, and he made one of these farms using shulker very early on in his series. I believe it was like episode 10 and 11. He went through and he kind of tried to reason out how you would go about making a farm for these guys. And, you know, I wasn't sitting there cringing the whole time, but I kind of was after the fact, because last night I was like, you know what am I going to record tomorrow? And so I was studying for my differential equations quiz today, and on the other monitor, I was kind of, I guess you could say, like theory crafting what you could do to make a better farm. Because if you guys don't know, Exuma's farm requires that you kind of go up into the sky basically, so that you don't have any blocks around you. You could make it on the ground, but you'd have to clear out a ton of blocks. And that's because the shulker will teleport. And so there's actually a very simple way to take care of that and deal with all this that we're going to be setting up today. So I wouldn't say this is an improved version on his farm. It's just, I guess, a better way to go about doing it if any of you are curious. But it did take a little bit of investment on my part to figure this out. I don't know if anyone else has set up a farm like this. I assume they would have, because it's probably the best way to do it, but let's jump into it now. So this room right here is going to be the room they're spawned in. Pretty bland decorations. I do eventually want to put some diamonds around or something to indicate that this is going to be where we collect this massive amount of diamonds. But if we come in here, this is the central block, and if we take the empty powered spawner, and if we were to throw it down, right, I guess we can grab it. Do we have any other blocks on me? No, I don't. Well, if we throw it down right here and we show the range, you can see that it extends up one and down one, so eventually it would be put in the middle right here, but it extends 4 in every direction, and that is going to be the spawning area. If we were to add capacitors to this, it would still function perfectly fine in this range. All it would do is, I believe, it should increase the power consumption and increase the spawn rate. So we're going to leave it on spawn. Obviously, this setting is completely useless for us right now because you're going to have to manually capture this, but we're going to be putting that down in a room that is 9 by 9 by 3, and that's going to be the spawning area. So the first thing that we need to do today is actually go and get the powered spawner working, and I thought I'd show you guys that on camera because it can be a little bit annoying if you don't know how it works. So what you need to do, you have the soul vial, you're going to click it into a soul binder, you're going to click in the broken spawner of any type, you're going to use player XP. You don't need to, I think you can like pump XP in, but we're going to use player XP. And this is going to take a very long time, and it's going to make some seriously disgusting noises. I guess is that supposed to be this thing like spinning or a mob noise? I don't even know. But yeah, so we're going to like stand away from that because that's a little bit loud. But what we're going to do once that is done, and it does take a while, that is with a capacitor in there, we're going to combine it in the anvil with a powered spawner. And then we're going to pretty much just have a powered spawner instead of the broken spawner, which will be the broken shulker spawner. And that'll allow us to give a fair bit of power. It's not going to be cheap. This setup is going to use a lot of the power that we've gotten so far and turn it into diamonds, essentially. So hopefully this will be done soon. Gonna back away from that again. Now I'm actually pretty proud of this. We can just talk about this for the moment. A lot of you guys know that a lot of my builds are not my own creations. I'll change a little bit up, but this is one of the first builds I've had that I've seen someone else's and been like, I can do that better. So I'm pretty excited because I think it's really effective. I took a look at it, let it run for even a couple minutes, and I was getting stacks upon stacks of diamonds. I don't know what we're gonna do with all the diamonds. So oh, you know what? I forgot to put this in the anvil. So we got to head back down there and put it in the anvil. So we put the broken spawner, powered spawner. I think it needs to go like this. Costs 16 levels, but there we go. We now have the shulker powered spawner. And now we can head back upstairs. Okay, so I need to get a block from somewhere right now. So, you know what? Let's just steal a block from here. We're going to put it back, but we need to put the spawner right in the center. So powered spawner right there. It needs to be in the center of the room. So if we show range, you can see that it's just this room right here. You'll start to see a lot of I think it's called clipping. I don't know what that's called. I've tried to remember what it's called before, but you start getting clipping because these are supposed to be in the same block. They're basically just overlapping. So we can hide the range so it'll only spawn inside this room. Now the first problem we have to deal with is actually dealing with their teleportation, because if they spawn in this room, they're going to want to teleport out. They could spawn literally in the block in front of me right now, this air block, and then they would teleport somewhere and kind of like latch onto one of the blocks, whether it's, you know, on a wall somewhere, the floor, the ceiling. They'd latch onto one of those and they'd be gone. So we need to put down the inhibitor Obelisk. Now this can really go anywhere. I think I'm just going to put it down right on top of the spawner itself. Should not be any issues putting it down right there. We could put it down another block up if we really wanted to. We could do something. Actually, I might do it like this. We could put it down up here, and then if we put it down right there, like so, we could then take the RF exciter, and we could put it down right there on top of it, or on the bottom of it, I guess. Now, we're not going to have to add any upgrades to this because it already covers a 32 block range, way bigger than we need. Honestly, the one that's over there might cover it for us, but I just want to make sure that this whole setup is pretty much, I think it would be the word I'd want to use is like autonomous. It functions on its own. So that if you're setting this up in your world, you know how it would go. But I don't really think we need this. We definitely don't need an upgrade though. It covers way more than it needs. And what this is going to do is prevent them from teleporting when they spawn. So now the issue becomes they're going to spawn in the air, and there's no way for us to use like conveyor belts or something to get them to go where we want. They're just going to sit there and not move. And so that's a big problem because a lot of the killing methods require that you push things, whether it's pushing them into spikes, pushing them into something that's going to kill them. And there's also, you know, the fact that you put spikes on the walls, that's still not going to work as effectively as this because it takes up spawning space. And at a certain point, it starts inhibiting their spawning if you don't leave enough space for them to actually spawn in. So what we're going to do below the powered spawner, we're going to have to put this on active or never active because we don't want it spawning stuff yet, is we are going to put down a dimensional transceiver. Now I would use the RF exciter on this, but we actually need the dimensional transceiver so that we can get items from the vacuum chest. And it's occurring to me right now that this might actually be a problem because I gotta go grab a capacitor. I don't know if the vacuum chest will actually be able to get the items we want like this, so let me see. Gonna grab this capacitor because I don't think I have any extras anywhere else. But then we can come back up here. Let's see how much power this is going to use. It's maxing out at 1600 RF per tick. So we definitely don't have enough exciter upgrades right now. I could make some more if we have them. I don't know if we've got the stuff required down here for more upgrades. So we've got the exciter upgrades right here, which means we need some more Quibbit crystals, which means we need, I believe the issue is going to be nether quartz, and I don't know if we have enough nether quartz. So we've got, okay, so that's 8. That should be enough. So we got 8 there, and now we need more dark stone. We can make some of that, and let's finish this off. So now we definitely have enough. This will be able to work with this setup. The reason I say this is because I don't want to put that block right there. I want to put it elsewhere. So what we can do is put down the vacuum chest directly below this block right here. So it can go right here. And that's going to suck everything up. And then we can put down the dimensional transceiver right below that. And then lastly, we can put down the shield projector pretty much anywhere around this, like so. I'm going to put it down in the back because I really don't want to see it. And then we can come down here and just edit this real quick. Oh, I was going to say, where'd that go? It got sucked up here. We also can check the range on this real quick, just to make sure we don't want it to be more than 4. Yeah, so that should be enough to pick up everything that we've got. So we can hide the range, always active. So this is going to be receiving power from that. So this should start getting power right here. And then we can, I guess technically that could be up there. Yeah, so this is a fine setup. And then this is going to be sending items from here to the base. And that should be good, I think. I think this should auto input into here. I don't think we need to pipe it into here at all. I think that should work. If we run into an issue, this can just get moved down one. But this should be able to automatically put them into here. And we just need to slap on the RF exciter on here, up top. Can we not? Oh, is it already taken up by that block? Do we need to put that block on top of that one? Huh, let's see. So let's break this. It's taking forever to break because I'm in the air. Okay, so let's put this down right there. Okay, so I guess we do. So we put that down right there. And then we need to add 15 onto that. So, is it? Oh gosh, it's shift right clicking. There we go. So now it can transfer the max amount of power for this, which is great. And then we need to deal with this over here. So I guess we can just mine up and slap one down up here on top of it. Oh gosh. There we go. Okay, so that should be getting power now too. That is super bugged out right there. But that should still be working. Make sure the range covers it. Yes, it does. Okay, so we can fill things back in up here. Fill things back in down here. And we actually should be pretty much ready to set up the shield template. And this is going to be the last thing that you're going to want to do. Mainly because you're going to start filling up this room. Now keep in mind you do need a wrench. I believe you need a smart wrench, which is the rftools one. But what you're going to do is take the shield templates. And you're going to fill up the whole room. Just going along, making sure every single block gets filled. This is a little bit messy to do. And normally if you're using a shield, you don't need to do this. You'd pretty much just do this. You know, if you had a 3x3 door, you would take 9 of these, place them down in that 3x3 area, and that would just prevent things from walking through the door. I really hope I have enough of these. I think I should. But that's what you'd go about, or that's how you go about fixing, you know, things coming into your base that you really don't want there, whether it's players, monsters. You can pretty much set it to anything you want. Now this gets a little bit odd because of how we need to deal with that block right there, but what we can do is fill in all the way out around the green, and we'll pretty much leave filling in that area till the end. But this gets expensive because it's not intended to be used like this, I don't think. You're not supposed to fill up a huge chunk with these blocks. Granted, it will look pretty cool, but we'll do this. Now, the only reason that I know to do this is because I did a prank with this a while ago, and we can't fill in that block there because we've got the exciter there. But I did a prank a while ago on, I think it was Non-Sanity or Brink. It was either Non-Sanity or Brink, and I did a prank on them on one of the old servers, and I used the shield, and that was the first time I had heard of it, and I rarely ever would use it, but I used it for this, or for that prank. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and unfortunately we have to mine through the ground a little bit. And the reason is because we need to get to this block here to be able to access it. Because if we were to take the smart wrench, and now that they're connected, if we were to click on this, it turns the whole thing into a shield. The whole thing that we filled up. But unfortunately now, we need to be able to get back over here when we do not have the shield up. Because we need to replace these down. So what we're going to do is just break all these blocks right here so that we can get out. And then we're going to start filling this in Just make sure every block is completely filled in here, so that anything that spawns in that area is going to die. And then we can come down here, click it, and everything there turns into a shield. Now becomes the important part of going over the settings. So we're going to go in here, and right now there's no settings. It's a shield, but I don't think anything should happen if we go in here. But because we're inside the blocks, we can't really see them specifically. Is there not a block up there? Let me check this. Oh no, we did not want to do that. Okay, well, oh no, this thing is too fast. Okay, this needs to get put back down right here. This needs to get filled in here. This needs to get put back down there. We need to grab this stuff out of here, fill that back in, and put this back down. Okay, there we go. Everything's back where it needs to be. So that was filled in. That just looked a little bit buggy up there. So this gets filled in. We click this stuff back on. Now we can go in here. And what we can do is say that this is going to only match hostile mobs because shulker are hostile. So it won't hurt us if we walk through it for some reason. But it only matches them. And then it is going to say we have the option of saying they could pass through, that they're solid. Then we're going to do damage. This is going to damage any hostile mobs in here. And you could do generic damage type. You could do player damage type. We're just going to do generic. And then we are going to add that. So now any hostile mobs in here are going to get damaged. And you can change the color of the shield. Let's see if there's any good ones. You can also set it to a type of block. So you could set it to glass. I don't really like that one. Let's go. What do I like? What's a good color? I don't know. How do I feel about that? That's green. Maybe that'll match things around us a little bit. Yeah, maybe we can go with that. Eventually I'll make it like invisible, but I actually like being able to see it right now. So now that that's good, we can actually, I think we should be able to head out of here. It seems like there will be a problem with this. I do think we need conduits going to that, unfortunately, just because it didn't look like items were getting sucked out of there. So we do need to grab some of these item conduits, and we've got the energy conduits right there. So we can come back down here. That block needs to go back up there, and then we come down. We can break this really quick. We are going to run into some power issues, and those both got sucked up there. That can go there, and then we can just fill in these blocks with an energy conduit and an item conduit. We can disable on that one, and this one is going to be always extracting, and down here is going to be always inserting into this, which is still set to go receive energy from Rage's base and send items to Rage's base. So any item that goes in here should get sucked out, and we may need to increase the rate at which items do get sucked out, but for now it should be okay. This looks like it's all good, so we should be good to fill this back in, and we should be good to actually turn this thing on. Now we should be able to walk through here without any issue, so we can easily, I think we should be able to easily access, ooh, you know what? We can't access this block right here because we cannot click it. So I'm going to have to figure out some way to get to that block right there. Probably have to go down from above. But all those blocks are back. I don't really know what happened to this block right here. But now I'm going to have to figure out a way to get in there. So we're going to have to tear up more of this. And we're going to have to go in from the top. And I think we're going to have to break this. I think we're going to have to break this and then replace it down. And that's unfortunate. Actually, no, it's not. So this is a little bit awkward to deal with right now. This should stay there, I think. So if we were to come down here, we can say that block is glitching out so bad right now. I don't know why that's doing that. But we can come down here and we can say spawn, and we can say always active. So now they should start spawning. Something to start being cautious about. If we were to put this conduit or this back down up here, it should be getting power. Oh, okay, so there's some of them are. Gotta be careful. But they should start getting damaged if I set this up correctly. Okay guys, so we are back. Now unfortunately I did have to cut the video. A bunch of police cars went by along with an ambulance and a fire truck. Clearly something bad has happened on my campus yet again. I have a good story for you guys in a minute, but my roommate came back after that, and so I did have to cut for a little bit. So I've been on here maybe for like 20 minutes since this got set up, maybe a little bit less, but now everything's running flawlessly. The only thing I had to do was make sure that I reset the field. So right click on it with the wrench, right click on it again to reset it. I probably could have just turned it off and on again too. Basically the same thing, but once that got reset, it took the new settings to damage hostile mobs, and now we are left with this. Eventually I will put like a muffler over here or something, but you can see how fast they're spawning and getting killed. They don't move anywhere. And so it's getting a ton of diamonds up here, which is great. We can go look in a second to see what the total is, but this is a really good way of doing it if you want to have it at your base, be able to see it, all that good stuff. I think this is most likely, I would venture to guess that this is one of the best ways to farm them in modded Minecraft, so I would highly suggest you make a farm like this if you're running into any issues with diamonds. Now we can head down here and see how the diamonds are coming along, and I do have a story for you guys real quick. If we were to go in, you can see that we are at 1.5k diamonds right now, and what's the other one? There's the end, you get some end crystals along with it, but so I guess the real story right now is what happened on my campus the other day. If any of you guys know anything about Yukon or watch the news anywhere around Yukon, you might have heard, but I believe there was some kid with a gun at our school in one of the buildings, is what I heard. I also heard that there was like a bomb threat, but bottom line is we got one of those like alerts from our school the other day, and it was like, oh yeah, anyone in this building seek shelter, whatever that means, and everyone else avoid the building. So of course, every college student around goes over to see what's going on in the building. We went to the library, which has like an overlook where we can see the building, and it's a very large building. It's, you know, probably millions of dollars upon millions of dollars to make, 4 floors, very large building, and there's police all around the building, armed guards at every door to the building, and there were a bunch of police like storming in. Eventually there was a helicopter over the building, repeated alerts, news reports on it, everything. I don't think anyone ever got hurt, but it lasted for a couple hours, and from what I heard, there was a kid in there that had like threatened people and had a weapon, and they had to deal with that. But that is what happened at my school the other day. So the whole day was just police car after police car after police car speeding by my dorm, just blaring the sirens, all of that. So if you noticed any of that, if you're by any chance in the New England area and, you know, watch any of the news, they might have covered that. I saw a bunch of them on, if people know what WFSB is or anything like that, they covered it on there. So just a little fun tidbit from my life. Not really fun for the people involved, but a little tidbit of info from my life at the end of the video. Another heads up, I do have exams coming up next week. I've got 3 of them, unfortunately. Videos might be a little bit few and far between. I'll try and keep at least 2 up over the week, but I will be busy studying. But the good news is, over the summer, it does not look like I have an internship as of now, so I will be doing full-time YouTube for almost 4 months. So daily videos on that, maybe even more than daily videos if you guys are up for it. So just a heads up for what's going to be happening in the future. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're going to use this setup in your world. If there's any other improvements I could make to it, I would love to hear them. The more diamonds we can get, the better. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later.